ZvT, so I'm a little bit concerned for him going up against GuMiho, who has been looking very good today and in other matches. As we have to the top left hand side, our red Terran player. Let's hear it if you're cheering on GuMiho. And to the bottom right hand side, our blue Zerg player is SKT1 soO. As we set up here in game number 1 of the best of 3. Again, guys, I would love to go into innovation stats, but it doesn't make sense to join a series midway through and then sort of come out after one game and it's maybe over, and then we've got to wait for so long for another entire series. I know you want to see innovation stats, but I would have if we'd called game 1 of it, but it's just not what's happened here, so unfortunate. But again, it is on the Chinese stream if you want to get your if you want to be able to see that, so do check it out. Going to be seeing this racks on the way up from GuMiho, so just starting to set that up here. I'm just going to be seeing the opening from him. Just going to be a very standard sort of expansion-based play. It is gas first, so it will be a fairly fast factory-based follow-up. It will not be the 2-1-1 build order that we see so often. And I'm just going to be seeing the Zerg play down here. He's going to go hatch gas pool. So we saw soO earlier going pool first every single time, but we saw him going pool first every single time, but actually, it's they're going to be the hatch gas pool this time. So obviously feels a little bit different as to how he should play against GuMiho here in the early stages of game number 1 on King Sejong Station. I see an Overlord starting to move up through the center of the map. I'm just going to be having a little bit of a look to see what exactly is going on here. Command Center will go down, and again that Reaper is just about halfway done already. We see the Orbital Command going to be finishing up very shortly as well. So Orbital Command going to be finishing up soon. And we see this Overlord from soO still heading up towards the upper left-hand side. So having a little bit of luck to see what exactly is going to be going on. 4 Zerglings being added in here. The hatchery finishes on the natural, and 2 Queens currently on the way up. So 2 Queens currently on the way up. And again, this Reaper just starting to move over towards the bottom right-hand side of the map in these early stages. So Reaper starting to move down to the bottom right-hand side. Looking to see what's going on, looking to see what it can get up to. And we do see that factory on the way up, as we mentioned. Second Reaper as well, actually. Very interesting from GuMiho. Not very often nowadays that we see kind of a double Reaper opening in TVZ outside of the 3-Rax Reaper play, which isn't really a double Reaper opening, but you know, in terms of actual 2 Reapers, you don't see it all too often. It used to be a very popular thing to do in Terran versus Zerg matchups, so interesting to see here. And we've seen, because he's not been able to build a reactor, he's building a single Marine now, and a Hellion on the way too. Starport begins to build as well. And these 2 Reapers going to join up together. Now we do see a Pneumatics Carapace upgrade coming in right now from soO, so just going to be getting some vision on the map early. I was going to say, I mean, potential for maybe some harassment play with that later on as well, so that's something to keep in mind as these 2 Reapers are going to hop back up to the main base. Link speed is about 20 seconds from finishing, so GuMiho knows he's got a little bit of time here. He's going to come in, try and get a drone kill or 2, but not going to happen. Comes in from the left, going to leave via the right. I'm going to back away and go up the right-hand side of the map. Just going to be seeing a Queen, just going to pop down a Creep Tumor at the front, and just going to be seeing the Starport land on the Tech Labs. It's going to be a Cloak Banshee play very early on here from GuMiho. Building another Hellion as well. Very interesting sort of setup, way to open. soO with the Overlord speed coming in now. Just sees the entire setup of add-ons here. Still nothing on the factory. Reactor building on the barracks and a tech lab on the starport. Again, it's not really kind of super normal the way that GuMiho is approaching this, but it still leads them into a fairly sort of expected composition. As we're going to be seeing this Reaper coming around the far right-hand side of the map. Just having a little bit of a look to see what's going on here with this Reaper, and we do see the lair is on the way up. So lair is on the way up, and we're going to be seeing it about halfway done right now. Hatchery starting to build on the 3rd base as well. So hatchery starting to build on the 3rd base. A couple of evolution chambers on the way down from soO, and we do just see the Reaper going to take this watchtower on the right-hand side as well. Overlord still sat overhead from our Zerg player here. We're going to see an SCV just going to come in and just going to drop down a depot just to help finish the wall off here. So depot just going to be coming down. There's a gas coming down as well from GuMiho. So setting up the refinery, and you do see the Banshee from GuMiho coming down to the south side of the map. So Banshee coming down to the south side here, looking to see what's going on. As we're going to be seeing this drone moving into location as well. We'll set up a Spore Crawler. You saw the Cloak Banshees earlier, so he sets up a Spore Crawler ASAP on the 3rd base. However, it's not going to be ready straight away, so 1 drone goes down. We're going to be seeing this Banshee cloaking up, and he's just going to be starting to work his way through this. Man, whenever I see Cloak Banshee and actually have soO in the game on this map, I sort of think of that soO fantasy game from GSL. Like one of the craziest games of all time, where the Banshee was about to run out of energy, but it just killed off the last spine crawler. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was on this map, right? Was it on this map? It might not have been on this map. It might have been a different map, because it was actually some time ago, but I think it was on a different map, but I just remember Cloak Banshees and soO. Crazy results. As we are going to be seeing a few more Hellions come in. You know what, it might have been on this map, because it was back in Heart of the Swarm, so you know, it actually might have been. Anyways, GuMiho has a lot of Hellions out. He's going to start moving forwards with them, and honestly, where's the preparation of this from soO? He saw kind of some Hellions out early, but I guess he didn't realize there's going to be quite this many. And GuMiho comes straight into the natural expansion here, gets a few drones, not too many just yet, to be fair, considering the situation, the circumstances. soO's done a very good job of minimizing the damage he's taken here, and he is just going to be ending up on 44 drones, which isn't ideal, but it could have been so much worse. So that wasn't so bad from soO. And again, considering that he'd already kind of not made units. 2 Liberators on the way across the map now as well. There is a second factory building. We are going to be seeing mech out of GuMiho. And that's something that soO is going to have to find an answer to here in the relatively near future. Because right now he's building up into melee upgrades. He is going to go into a fast infestation pit, so maybe figuring this out to some extent. Interested to see what exact direction he takes with this. We saw Guru playing against some mech the other day, and he played a very aggressive, kind of just Ling Ultra based playstyle, which is kind of interesting. Hellbat's working their way through these queens as they do transfuse each other up though. And just continue to pick away after these couple more Hellbats. So a couple more Hellbats going down. And there's actually good defense here from soO, just trying to transfuse energy for the Hellbats is very worthwhile for him. So he'll be very happy with that. A Liberate into the main base, doing a little bit more damage overall here. 15 workers killed by GuMiho. Liberating the natural expansion as well. Third base, sorry. Just pick up the Queen soO just a little bit late to pull that one back, as this Liberator is not in sieging. And will indeed go down. So some lost mining time. Queen's actually going to get caught now as well. Overseer in position. All of a sudden, a flurry of good attacks by soO. Or good attacks, good defense by soO. As, oh no! Depot is down. And so Ling's streamed on in towards the natural expansion. Well, already, this is all, in the last few moments, has all been about GuMiho sort of falling apart and making some mistakes. Hellion's getting caught over here. Ling's will streaming towards the third base as well. Just Ling's all over the place, really. Getting good damage done. Cyclone comes out to help. His Lings, they killed over towards the third base, and this is soO finally getting some damage back onto his opponent for that damage he's been taking through the early stages. So, nice little kind of counter here by soO. Really effective. All starts because that first depot is down, so GuMiho can't just focus all of his defense on just the third base. Cyclone goes down as well. And it's again just more good pickoffs by soO here. 16 workers killed, so completely evens up the workers killed in the game. Really well played from him. And we've seen the Hellbat getting caught there as well. Going to get taken down, and still just this third base in a little bit of trouble. While Ling's moving forwards, there just isn't that much to deal with them right now, which seems stupid because there's a couple of Hellions and Hellbats out at a time. But yeah, because there's only a couple of them, there's not enough to really kind of do enough here. Mules getting picked off as they drop down. Still not a pretty situation at all here from GuMiho. Desperate to get this third base rolling once again, but maybe a bit too desperate, throwing away more units than he needs to. Hydralisks on the way out of soO. Now that's an interesting one. That's one we don't really oftentimes see. I wonder what the Hydras are going to be for. I mean, Hydras can shoot up, and that's about it, right? Like, they're very squishy, and going up against, I mean, I guess it'll help out a lot against the Liberators, but even the Liberators can sort of just kill Hydras so quickly. I'm not sure if Hydras are really a good answer to these, so it's an interesting choice by soO. Very intrigued at how exactly this is going to be playing out over the next few moments, because it's not the usual way to fight against this. It really isn't. As we're going to be seeing Hellions and Cyclones join up as well, and Hellions and Cyclones are going to have to time their lives against Hydras as well. A mobile composition that can kite, well, Hydras are pretty slow, and then the Hellions are going to do so much damage to the Hydras as well. Bonus damage to light, especially with Infernal Pre-Igniter up. They're going to have a fantastic time, so I'm really intrigued as to how soO's Hellions, Hydralisks are going to work out for him. He is on a Hive, so he has got Vipers, and Blinding Clouds may very well be a large part of how he's thinking, how he's kind of planning on engaging into this. In fact, I would put money on the fact that he's probably looking towards the Blinding Clouds as making this work. I'm still intrigued as to whether the Hydras alone do it, though. He's only going to have 2 Blinding Clouds available, right, on the Vipers, so that's something he's got to keep in mind. See an attack Sonic come in. I mean, GuMiho has to, so soO has to go here soon. He actually has a 3rd Viper on the way up now. Blinding Clouds 100 energy, so if he can get to full energy, he will be kind of on 4 Blinding Clouds, then 6. It's unlikely that he's going to consume all the way to 200 energy, though. It just takes a long time, and, well, I mean, he's got time, actually, because GuMiho has backed off. He is just going to sit defensively. Plus 2 Carapace, about to finish up from soO here. Roach speed is on the way as well, so you can add some Roaches into the composition if you would like. For now, it's mostly still just Hydra Ling. Exact same as what we've been seeing before. I'm just going to be moving up the right-hand side. A few Hellions to the left from GuMiho, having a look around, seeing what exactly they can get up to. A couple of Crypt Tumors continue to pop down here from soO. As you just see those Hellions continue to work their way through those Zerglings. So Zergling's taking some more damage. And Hydralisks out of soO. Still just moving around as well, looking to see what's up, looking to see what's happening. As GuMiho going to be moving forwards, moving up to the top side here. And looking to see what position he can get himself in over the next couple of moments. Hallion's going to pull back, a few Roaches on the way out, a few Hydras as well. We're going to be seeing a couple of Siege Tanks and 5 Hellions continuing to build too. As we're going to be seeing these Liberators just setting themselves up and just spanning themselves across this sort of area here. So they're just spanning themselves over this sort of direction. SCV of GuMiho is just going to be coming up to the far top right side. And here we go, Roaches and a lot of Hydras. Starting to move forwards. Very old school sort of anti-mech composition here by soO. Not even, you know, very kind of Heart of the Swarm anti-mech composition. Vipers continue to come in. There's, what, 3 of them? 5 of them now. Wow, okay, so there's 5 of them with a lot of energy. So Blinding Clouds, Abducts are all going to be very important here. Abducts can pull Liberators out of siege mode. Same, they can pull tanks into the army. And actually, this army's going to start moving forward. So here, the Liberators will siege up, and they do a lot of damage to Hydras. So it is something which soO has to be very cautious about. So here we go, a combination of Abducts and Blinding Clouds I think is going to have to come in, but look at the Hellbat's going to drop onto the Hydralisks out of those medevacs. soO's just going to lose so much here, absolutely no way he doesn't. As we're just going to be seeing the Hellbat drops especially just destroy his army. That wasn't even close. Wow. GuMiho just absolutely destroys this, perfect answer to the Hydra space play. And that's why you don't make Hydras. Hellbats kill them, Liberators kill them, tanks kill them. Even the Vipers couldn't do enough there to, I mean, against the Hellbat drop especially, there was no response out of soO. You know, he had no way to deal with the Hellbat drop. It was splitting away, but Hydras are slow. They're not that effective in that sort of situation. As tanks now coming in and soO backing away with this army. Gonna have to approach game number 2 very differently, especially if GuMiho decides to play mech once again, because this did not work for him, and it wasn't even close to working for him. Some Vipers been, you know, doing some abducting now, although he only gets one of the Liberators. The medevac actually manages to boost away in time before he does fall to the abduct. I was just going to be seeing, well, maybe GuMiho getting a bit too over-aggressive here. A lot of his tanks on siege at the moment, and Roach Hydra begin to push through this, Queens as well. Begin to clean this out to some extent, so game not over just yet, but still, I mean, wow, okay, it is kind of over. I was for a moment or two, I was going to be like, well, he might push this attack back, but no. There's so many tanks still left over, and we're just going to be seeing these units continue to move forward. So your tanks is going to be sieging up, and more drones going to be going down. More and more drones falling. As this extractor going to be going down as well. These tanks are going to drop, and Roaches and Hydras continue to come in to try and defend this, but it's just not going to happen here. And soO does not have a way to defend us anymore. He really doesn't. He's just done for. So game number 1 going to go the way of GuMiho here in the Leifeng Cup for Qualifier. He's going to have tanks still just kiting around, picking off units a couple at a time, just stopping the reinforcements from gathering together. There's the GG, and that is going to be GuMiho taking game number 1 of this best of 3 series. Let's go in game. Let's introduce us some players. We have to the bottom left-hand side of the map, Red Terran. It is going to be GuMiho, coming in from Team MVP. He's playing against the Blue Zerg to the top right-hand side. It is SKT1 soO. Thank you very much, Lib75, who cheers 500. 2 million hype, yes, man. After the day, we should be at least kind of 1965, so I think we're only going to be like 30 to 35,000 viewers away, which is pretty sick. Pretty sweet. Looking forward to it, man. 2 million is crazy. Do you guys remember when we hit 1 million, like, earlier this year? It was, like, ridiculous. So, I can't actually remember when it was. You know what? I can find out quickly. Let me tab, because I'm kind of interested in this. Gas pool opening, by the way, out of... oh, there it was. That's what I wanted. Gas pool opening, by the way, out of soO, which allows him to just be a little bit safer against any aggressive opening of the Terran. Especially on this map, something like an aggressive opening could be very aggressive, very powerful. Let's see here. Oh, it only tells me per month. But it was about in it was in April or May that we hit 1 million views. It's pretty crazy. I thought it told me. kind of total channel views. There it is. In 1 million, we had 1 million in. We hit 1 million on the 13th of April. And now, like, what? That's like 6 months ago? So half a year to get 1 million to double our views on the channel when the channel's been around for like 4 years. It's pretty insane, really. If you think about it, it's pretty ridiculous. Thank you very much again for Lib75 for the 500 cheers. Can we get some SDI hearts in the chat? As we do just set up here into the early stages of Galactic Process. I know, sorry, I was a little bit distracted there, just figuring stuff out and so on. But, yeah, we're going to see a factory coming down. Reactors on the way from GuMiho as he does expand here early. He has got his Reaper across the map. As soon as he sees it's a pull first, though, and not a hatch first, he begins to pull the Reaper back home to minimize the amount of time which he's going to be delayed from building this command center. So, just on his way back with this Reaper, as the Hellions are going to be on the way. Reactor going onto the factory now. Or factory going onto the reactor, we should say. As we're going to be seeing him picking away. He's going to be losing the SCV. Wow, so soO just picked that off. Coming here a little bit of a mistake there at the very end. And I'm just going to be seeing him with Hellions on the way early. Starport begins. And a tech lab next to it. Looks as though we'll be seeing Cloak Banshee play once again here in the early stages. So, a few more Zerglings coming in from the right-hand side, and soO just kind of looking around with his early link speed to maybe see if he can get anything done. His third hatchery's on the way, something GuMiho identifies now as he scouts across the map with the Reaper. At this point for GuMiho, he usually just wants to make sure there's not anything kind of like a 2-base or link coming his way, like a, you know, there's nothing like a kind of a Nidus network or something, a super fast Spire or Lair. He just wants to check that it is a fairly normal, or even kind of like a Roach attack. So, just getting that Reaper into the main base, just seeing kind of where that gas is being spent, etc. is nice, and seeing it's not being spent on anything too important. There's a lot of gas for soO in the bank. It'll be interesting to see where he goes with that. Might just be for the double upgrades. I mean, Evo Chamber should come down shortly, and that could definitely lead him into that there. So, I'm going to be seeing this Overlord just sat overhead here from soO. And there's actually a couple of Widow Mines going across the map in this medevac. So, a couple of Widow Mines going across the map in the medevac to see what they can achieve. Again, Overlord just sat overhead here from soO. You see the double depot on the way as well, just as part of the wall. And this medevac continuing to come up towards the upper right-hand side. Going to get into location here, getting positioned very shortly. See what he's going to be able to get up to as we're going to be seeing this double Widow Mine dropping in. We're just going to be seeing one Widow Mine around. I mean, it's kind of nice because he doesn't actually really kill anything here, but it's, you know, it's just annoying because there's no Spore Crawlers yet. Spore Crawler actually Widow Mine can sit on the high ground. Not really in a too good of a position to do much right now. First Banshee on the way across. And you just see the few Hellions coming across as well. So a little bit more pressure from GuMiho. Let's see if he can take a lead here once again in the early stages. I'm actually going to see the medevac still around. Could actually elevate these Hellions up to the high ground. Widow Mine picked up 5 kills here. Not sure what that was actually on. Maybe just a few Zerglings. Probably nothing too crazy as we see the Banshee coming in. Cloaks up on the third base. Spore Crawler on the third base a little bit late as Hellions do run by in towards the mineral line in the main. We're going to be seeing him starting to pick up some drones. 4 workers killed already. There's going to be 3 more as well. Lifts up into the medevac now. We're just going to be seeing him with this medevac backing away to the top side. Banshee has picked off a queen. Under fire from a Spore Crawler, so has to back away. And actually everything gets out of there alive. Nice little bit of damage. soO down to 33 workers. Down by 10 at this point. Not pretty. GuMiho doing good damage again in the early stages. And we see a Nidus network coming down. I think soO's just had enough. He's just going to try and Nidus his way to victory, which might not be too bad of an idea. It's a little bit later than kind of a complete Nidus all in, but at this point, just going for a Nidus attack might be the best way to do this. If he gets his queens across and the Banshees die, if the Banshees go down, then, well, yeah, if the Banshees go down, then he's fairly safe with everything else as well. And there isn't that many units up right now, so the Roach Link could be very effective. GuMiho, there isn't a dark spot in his main base, but we'll see how quickly he does respond to the Nidus network dropping. If Link is going to go towards the front, Nidus finishes, immediately soO here going to drop in the main base. Let's see what GuMiho's reaction is going to be. He doesn't see that massive yellow thing on the mini-map. He just sees the blue dot there. You can see it like now. So he doesn't see this at all. His Banshee's going across the map. This is not good for GuMiho. He sees the Overseer now, and he hears the Nidus network. Now he realizes what's going on. The Queens and Roaches are already going to be controlling his main base. Now, if he can kill that Tech Lab, Stim's not going to be part of this game for a long time, and that could be painful. One tank is going to come into play here, and that's going to be able to, well, keep soO a little bit pinned back for now. As we're going to be seeing the Overseer morphed in as well to give him the detection he needs against potentially the Cloak Banshees. One tank, so many roaches though. As we see, not many SCVs going down just yet. soO is 16 works behind, so he's got damage to get done to get back into this to some extent. As we're going to be seeing a few Ravagers coming in, that will help a lot with this. Queens with some transfuses available, more roaches and lanes being made, and well, soO just taking his time about taking this fight, not rushing into anything just yet. See a couple of Corrosive Bars coming down and just forcing some units away. The 2 tanks now make this a little bit more scary, and that's something which maybe forces soO to really start pushing forward here. There's a lot of Marines. The Roach numbers are good though, and we do see the Banshees starting to take a lot of fire from the Queens as well. Corrosive Bars helping to push this back, and you can just see the SCV numbers dropping very quickly as the Marines coming forwards, trying to fight this. Again, the 2 tanks in the back do so much to help this out, and it is maybe the tanks which are going to help to really clean this out in the end. Corrosive Bars will clean up the Liberator. Again, I think the Siege tanks sort of are going to be the saviors of this game right now. Corrosive Bars dropping though, tanks starting to take a little bit more damage, and well, still kiting away. That's the thing, the tank attacks are just so good here. How much damage have they done? 1 kill, 3 kills, 10 kills? I mean, when they're all roaches, that's a lot of kills that have been kind of brought in here by the Siege tanks. And there's just no way for soO to really close the gap towards those tanks with those units, so soO at this point still making just try and keep on attacking. I mean, he's put himself into a little bit of a worker lead now. He's down on upgrades by a 1-1 set, and he's also kind of, well, he's actually building another Nidus. Where's that next Nidus? Natra, third base? Okay. That makes sense, because actually if you can kill off a few of these SCVs here, it will deny some economy. And that's something he has to start doing, picking off more of the SCVs, slowing down the economy. But 4 siege tanks, how does he fight against 4 siege tanks? I still don't think he has an answer for that. Okay, I mean, okay, at least now GuMiho is only mining off of 1 base. He's going to be seeing these units just going to jump into that now. He's just in time to get out of there alive. They're going to pop up down to the low ground, apparently. So they're going to start coming out over here. I mean, tanks are going to start firing onto it, but units get down already, and they'll start to push in towards the front, but tanks are here as well. Main base orbital can get back to mining now, too, once this Nidus has been... now that the Nidus has been cleaned up over in the main. Oh, no, the tanks are doing so much of these roaches. They try and break out through the rocks. He needs to try and come in over through these rocks instead, but the tanks are just going to keep moving forwards, and they're just slowly going to pick everything off. It's the mobility of the siege tanks which are just really hurting soO here, and he went into this fight with so much compared to so little, and he comes out of it with so little compared to so little as well. I mean, there's still not much for GuMiho. It's just the fact that what he does have is very powerful. We're going to see his Liberator sieging up. This Queen will go down, so you're not realizing this just yet, so you'll lose some drones as well. Spore moves into position, but he's still losing drones during this time. These units are still stuck over in this location as well. They should have got back into the Nidus while they could have done, and just gone back over home straight away. 51 drones to 40 SCVs. Mutas on the way. Now, actually, the Mutas could be an interesting choice here, because if the Mutas can slow down the tanks and stop the tanks to some extent, well, that could change so much. We do see a tank and a medevac getting picked off here, so small victory for soO, finally getting rid of one of those units, which has been so troubling for him to deal with until now. Oh my god, look at the mule spam at GuMiho. He's been keeping those mules. He's going to drop them all in the main base at this point. Just going to get those mules going. He's probably going to mine out his natural. Well, he would have mined out his natural first at this rate, so probably not a bad thing to drop them in the main. I mean, the sooner you mine out the main base, actually, the sooner you can use that orbital on another base elsewhere. This trade is actually not so bad from soO either. I mean, he kills off a fair, I mean, it wasn't great, but he kills off a fair few Marines still, while his roaches get taken down. As we are going to be seeing the tank evac play still coming over. Here's the Mutas starting to realize what's up. He doesn't actually see those medevacs. If he did, he would have been on top of those immediately, I think, and starting to shut them down, because that would have been a huge pickup if he could have got rid of those medevacs with the tanks inside. Marines moving forwards now, and that's something soO cannot fight. One Marillus goes down already, though, so he has to be very cautious about that. Going into his own upgrades now, definitely behind in upgrades, with potential to kind of maybe pull this back a little bit, using this Marillus harassment to keep himself at a worker lead. 57 to 43 workers at this point, continuing to pick his way through this refinery. You'll see some tank evacs going in towards the upper right-hand side, and the Marines as well moving across here. So a bit of an attack, and this is going to be the real test. Does soO have enough to actually hold on an attack at the front? Well, a lot of it comes down to, can he shut down the tank evacs? I think if he can shut down the tank evacs, then yeah, maybe he's going to be okay, but look how many units there are. So everyone's getting into position. soO actually has a gold base. These Banes don't have speed just yet. There's also 2-1 against 0-0 upgrades still right now as well. Things going to run on in. Here we go. Muta's going to start targeting down the tanks nice and quickly. But so far, it's just not really been enough at all. It's just the fact that these Marines are so effective and so efficient. Even without Stim, they just trade so well, and GuMiho just has enough to push on through. soO doesn't have anything left at all. And it looks as though this is going to be GG. GuMiho taking the series 2-0. Kaboom. Just like that, GuMiho is going to be advancing